Yeah. Leaving. Told me she leaving. I told her she do what she needs to.
But yeah, thanks for coming up from Dublin, George.
Oh, man, no stress. I've been up here before. For the output.
I bumped into you.
Yeah, they did. I think it was in March, was it? No, February.
February or March last year.
It was great. But the only thing I have to say about coming up here is if anybody from Bus Erin is seeing this, look, it's a 3-hour bus ride. Don't put the heating on for the whole bus drive. I'm telling you that now. But otherwise, it was beautiful.
You wouldn't actually know, but like the whole Bus Erin team are massive Irish hip hop fans, and they watch this like every week.
So guys, you guys are great. I'm just saying, I ain't saying nothing, but just turn that a little bit for your boy.
It is fucking wild. We had one where we went back from, where was it? It was
it was back from Dublin.
Yeah, but was it like a district thing?
I think so. Yeah, and it was the bus driver just didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
It took like 3 hours to drive from Dublin, and he had the aircon on, but he couldn't turn it off.
So it was like fucking.
So
freezing.
it was freezing the whole time. And this old woman just went to the front of the bus. She was just like, "Please, can you turn the aircon off?" And he was just like, "I'm sorry, I don't know."
Yeah, when old people have taken upon themselves to do something, this is.
Oh, shit's getting real. Yeah, it was fucking wild. But I feel like we've just done that trip so much that it feels fine. I think people are like afraid to almost come up here sometimes. Like they've never been. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a bit intimidating.
I personally, I love it. Especially one thing I love about the city is I love how it looks. I know this. When you hop out of the train station, not the bus station, and like there's some hotel there, some hotel there, and it's like, oh shit. Like I know you kind of. Me personally, because I hadn't been here up until this year, but like you forget it's actually big. Do you get me? It's like, bruh. And like one thing I love as well about this, when one of my best friends Newton had come to Belfast a couple of years ago, and he goes, "There ain't no niggas here." I came up, I saw some niggas, man. I was like, no, but like it's real multicultural. I mean, as in like the street over there. Yeah. There's a whole kind of Asian thing over there.
It's like Chinatown.
You know what I mean? And like that's what you need to start getting.
Well, I think that's like part of the reason hip hop's starting to take off a wee bit more here, because before it was just like a load of white dudes like doing boom bap, and it was just really bad most of the time.
I still love it.
It's like music just benefits so much from cultural diversity, and I feel like that's why Dublin's popping at the moment as well.
Yeah, because different people bring in different little things. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. But yeah.
And like, what is there anything from your heritage that you've like drawn into your music at all?
I'd say probably my name would be the main thing. So my name is Jeorge II. But okay, now I know every fucking Nigerian says this and in your emails, but actually I'm a prince, right? No, I don't want any money though. But no, I am a prince, right? My dad's name is George, so I felt like I'd continue that on with me. To be fair, other than that, because it's weird in regards to culture, it's weird because I'd say a mix of Irish and Nigerian. Do you get me? And when I was growing up here, it was different in the sense that like hip hop wasn't as big as it was, 5-10 years ago. Do you get me? I mean, sorry, it's bigger than it was 5-10 years ago. Like, for example, like I felt like, especially when I was in secondary school, I kind of felt ashamed of it a little bit. Really? Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, there was do you guys remember when France cheated and beat Ireland to get into the World Cup?
Yeah.
Oh, in football.
The handball.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
so at first it was like, I remember the day after in school, a bunch of like white guys from my year, and they were like, okay, let's go find the French people. And I was like, it's a fucking Irish school. There's no French people here. Like, grand, okay. Oh, Congolese people speak French. Oh, let's get them. Oh, he's black. He might be Congolese. And I just literally turned it, let's find black people and beat them up for Thierry Henry.
No way.
Do you know what I mean? So and at that point I was like, okay, these people don't like care or like kind of like it at that much. So that was something I in the past I kind of not kind of held back a little bit, if that makes sense, just because I didn't want to feel like you get judged, because that's how it was when we were younger. Do you get me? But one of the things I like now is especially in regards to the growing hip hop scene, Burna Boy, shout to him, because when I hear his music, I feel like I'm at home. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the fact that he brings it out in his songs, like for example, like the song "Yay," the first 4 lyrics, like his half his shit is like in Yoruba, which is the language where I speak, and I'm like, I can understand that, and you can't, but I can. You know what I mean? But you're still grooving to it though. It's, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's what I love. Like when I saw him singing on like Jimmy Kimmel singing my language, I was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. So like, I think I'm going to try and bring that out more in the future. Simply
That'd
because,
be fucking
like,
crazy.
Because
like music just crosses those language barriers like nothing else. You know what I mean? Because you just can't not vibe to his music. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. So I think but that is really important as well. And that's one of the things it pains me that I overlooked it in the past. But yeah, that's about it. I'd say yeah.
Do you think those kind of like outside influences of people, like in a negative way, is why you haven't been making music for that long?
I'd say yes and no, to be honest. Because obviously in Dublin's different. It's a case of like, it's not. I don't know. Even just in the last year, there's so many like pop-up studios being built up, and like I hear people. I was in Lewis yesterday, and I'm hearing like kids next to me who went to school with me, and they're like, "I'm going to studio." I'm like, what's going on? Do you get me? So it's back in the day, it was more like if you weren't in it, you kind of looked at weird for coming in it now. Even when I first started, I was seen as like, oh, you're only doing it now because you see other people doing it, and it's like it's like a yes and no. Yes, because like for example, the reason I started getting music is my guy, you know, Amma. Shout out Amma, one of the
album's
boys.
Unreal.
But about 3 years ago, I was in a house with Eddie, my brother Eddie from Rejectz, and he showed me an Amma song, and I heard it, and didn't know it was Amma, and I was like, who's this? Oh, what's this guy's name? He goes, oh, he's from Galway, bro. I was like, if this guy is from this country and he can sound like that, why can't I do it? You know what I mean?
I think he's like one of the most slept on artists in Ireland. Like his output is just insanely high. Like the production value is insane. He was showing me how he gets his beats from. Like he's like networking with this guy in a different country to find beats. Do you get me? And I'm like, bro, damn, he's working hard. Like, I think he's finally getting a bit of recognition with this recent project now. Simply because like people are starting to see, and I think he's also found a little niche in it. But anyway, in regards to that, like it's a case of like, so I felt like I could, I did it because I saw somebody from here doing it. But once you get in there, people look at you like, oh, you were not even here that long. Why are you doing this? And it's like, you know, like when I first started, I had a lot of resentment for a lot of people simply because of the way I was not treated, but it would say lack of treatment. Yeah.
They wouldn't even respect you as, not the fact that you're as big as them or the fact that you have as much clout as them, but it's a case of like, they wouldn't even see you as a fellow artist. And that's what really pissed me off. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I try not to do with other people, because I can see, because nobody starts off big. Everybody has been small, and everybody has, and I can remember how it felt like. Niggas still small a bit, do you know what I'm saying? But it's a case of like, I can still remember how it felt like to be like asking someone for something or advice, and then them not even giving you the time of day almost. Do you get me? And it's like, we can't bring people into this environment and expect them to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to you maybe only doing it because you saw other people doing it, like, I think that's just a good thing, though.
Oh no, it's a great thing. I mean, that's how people get inspired.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Literally.
Yeah.
It's like it's a case of like, don't get me like, okay, small tangent. Before I heard Amma rapping, like a couple of years, remember the Biggie Smalls movie?
Yeah.
Now the end of that movie was the most inspiring piece of footage I've ever seen for rap, because it was like, it was his mom or something, and like he had died and his mom was doing the voiceover, and it was like, I heard 5,000 people singing my son's song, and I was like, fuck, that's crazy. Do you get me? So I started rap. I tried to do a little rap after that, and it was fucking terrible. So I was like, I'll leave that off. And then I heard Amma. I was like, no, he's from here, so let me do that now.
I always say to other people, but I find it more inspiring seeing people maybe that aren't as high level as like international stars, but are closer to home, because you're like, well, I can fucking do it then.
Literally, I'm like, yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it's like, if I know it shows you that like it's not in the sense that I'm not trying to demean and saying it's not that hard, but it's not impossible. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't let where you're from stop you, or your accent stop you, or do you know what I mean? Like, what kind of, so yeah, no, it's, we live in a place right now where you can actually make money off literally anything. Even if it's not about making money, but it's because you can make an income or do anything, and that can actually sustain you, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's right now, I think it's probably the most exciting times, if that makes sense, for I've seen in this country, because people are finally starting to realize that, holy shit, we can actually we don't just have to watch these guys on YouTube, we can be in those YouTube videos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like,
I mean, even look at the guys at like Deerfack and New Air and stuff like that, like all those videos are like getting mad numbers. And I think if you were to show them to someone in America and not tell them where the people are from, they'll assume it's America. You know, there's no difference to the geographical location. You know, it's just geographical location. Like, that's it.
And what I like about Ireland is, in regards to like, I feel like we're, especially in regards to the geographical location, what you said, we're just between America and just between England. Do you get me? And I feel like that gives people so much freedom to gravitate towards different sounds. Do you get me? So because I know people doing like American style rap, and there's lots of people doing drill styles rap, and I feel like you wouldn't get that in America. I mean, not in America. You wouldn't get that in England, where like you'd have.
You sort of have to do grime or something because it's where you're from. Whereas like if you're in Ireland, you're like you said, the diversity thing. You can just blend different styles because we're not attached to like a certain sound. And something that I was thinking about the other day, because so many people are saying about like the Irish sound, like it's almost a beautiful thing that we don't have one yet because there's so much freedom to do whatever the fuck we want.
But I'm actually, and personally, I'm really excited to hear, or like not even contribute any way I can, but just to hear. Because I feel like deep there's grime in England, whatever. And the next 10 years, there's going to be something.
There's going to be something different, yeah.
And no, not in England, but like here, we're going to have our own thing. And it's like, I'm just so excited to see what that is, if that makes sense. Because I remember, did you ever seen that video? It's like these Limerick boys, I think. Not Limerick boys. They're from like, it's like Irish grime on YouTube. And it has like 1 million views.
Yeah,
and
LDK
like,
or something.
LDK or something like that it's called. And don't get me wrong, like people will say it's corny and shit, but I was like, that's sick. But deep people like that, in the next 5 years, they'll take that, they'll run with it, and they'll make their own new thing, and then that's a whole thing. You know what I mean? So like, oh no, it's really exciting. You know what I mean? I tell my girlfriend all the time. It feels like Brooklyn, just before like early 90s. You know what I mean? Like you can smell something in the air. Like I think I can't remember the song, but basically no, it just feels like I'm scared and I'm happy almost. You get me? Because you don't know when. Like somebody could pop tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's in the stage we're at, where someone will blow out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but like someone will pop.
Someone will pop, and you could even have someone blow out of nowhere. Like I was like, for example, like if you release a song and you market it well, or you get the release dates well, and it gets put on a major playlist on a hosting thing, that's you blown out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? It could be a first song. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's a case of like there's avenues that weren't there for us before that we have now.
Yeah, I mean, even if a radio DJ in Radio 1 or something picks it up and just runs it and constantly, has that on loop, it does wonders for your career. Like,
I'm telling you.
I think it's just easier for people to find music now, and it's more accessible for people to share it. And it's a good thing about Spotify. Like, people go on about all the different shit with it, but I think overall it's a good thing, especially for artists to get a bit of exposure.
Especially with and in regards to the Irish scene as well, I love how they've started curating their own Irish Spotify playlist. When I saw there's a breath of fresh air, there's new air, and there's rap.ie, and I was like, we have 3 playlists now. It's not just like, oh, somebody felt sorry for us and they gave us a little small one. No, we have 3. Do you get me?
It's because you need more than one to like cover everything.
Literally, do you know what I'm saying? And it's a case of like, but they're seeing that now, and they're seeing there's like we can't fit all of this stuff in one playlist, so we have to make more and then make another one. Do you get me? So I feel like, yeah, no, it's getting there. It's getting there. Oh, it's
exciting. With the so much stuff coming out of the Irish scene right now, when you're making your own music, do you try and like take that all in, or do you try and not listen to it and make it separate?
See, it's and I say. Again, I hate saying this, but a bit of both really, because I mean, if you listen to if you listen to too much of one thing, you'll end up sounding like that one thing, if that makes sense. Like I bump Amma's album, I bump Evan's album, and like I remember at one time actually, there's a song, Evan's Junior Neck. I was writing. I was listening to that for a couple of days. Then I wanted to write something, and I was rapping it back to myself, and I was like, "Bro, this is just like I just subconsciously written this guy's song." Do you know what I mean? So like you can. I think it's good if you enjoy it, because you can't. I mean, you have to support what your own as well, but at the same time, keep your you can't try and not too much to bite off them, because originality is everything these days. Do you know what I mean? So I think in regards to my influences, I would say I do have some Irish influences in there, but at the majority of the time, I try to kind of keep myself not separated from it, but it's a case of like, okay, I have that there, but let me try see something what I can do different to that, if that makes sense.
Who were some of your early influences getting into rap? Because like you can fucking rap, like I remember I seen you at Electric Picnic when you were with Nilo.
Oh shit!
And yeah, that was hard because you just sort of went off the dome for a bit of that, didn't you?
It was earlier influences, I'd say it's a mesh of stuff, to be completely honest. I'd say earlier would probably J-Rock, Kanye West. And in regards to rapping, I know it sucks, but like, and especially I'd say J-Rock, Kanye West, Big Sean. Now he's a corny bastard, but the guy can rap as fuck. Meek Mill as well. I love Meek Mill because he can just. I know there's a power in his voice almost. I know I saw a meme. It's like Meek Mill sounds like his dad's about to hit him every time he's rapping.
He's very cinematic or something, though, isn't he?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you feel when he say you feel what he's saying. Now one things the two main influences right now would probably be you've heard of St. John.
Okay.
St. John, he's from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn, New York. He used to be he's a singer and a rapper. He used to be a songwriter for he wrote for Usher back in the day. Do you get me?
Oh, shit.
Like he's 33 now, but he's only starting to pop off now because he was doing that stuff before. But
Right.
And Drake, right now, I know Drake, but it's a case of like now people say about his lyrics they're not his, whatever. I'm not saying nothing about that, but it's a case of like his voice, if that makes sense. One of the hardest things for me when I first started rapping was kind of trying to find my voice. I mean, because it was when I first started, it was like monotone, like, hey, my name is Jeorge and I make music, blah 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 blah. But it's a case of I saw him and I was like, his voice is his tool. You know what I mean? Deep it. If you say, I don't know, a song, Money in the Grave, whatever. If you had a different rapper rapping those exact same lyrics, it would sound different. Do you know what I mean? Because when you hear Drake's voice, it's like, it doesn't matter what the fuck he's saying because that's his voice and you know what it is. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can enjoy this.
There's definitely like a skill to making it sound good. You
Oh,
know,
that's
it sounds so obvious, but like you said, someone can be rapping and it just doesn't sound good.
Well, like, in Sicko Mode, he's got that bit where he's just talking about taking sleeping pills to get on a flight. Like a fucking grandma. But everyone's like, oh, this is hard.
The nursing home will fuck with this heavy. Like,
the home was turned. Oh, bro, I'm telling you, old Jim over there like this. But yeah, because like that, I feel like that's a really important thing people do overlook. It's the fact that if it sounds good, you know, like you have to. It's weird because I feel like I remember. I'm sorry, I keep going in tangents, but like this is the only way I can explain stuff. It's like I was watching something on Death Row, and Dre was talking about the first time he was recording with Snoop Dogg. And it was like he was talking about like this guy's voice was just not perfect, but like he knew how to breathe and like rap in the studio. Like I've been in rapping with people, been in studios, and like people who are probably like better rappers than me, who can write bars around the nigga for days, and they'll get in the studio and they'll be like, it's like, come on, bro. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like you I think your voice is just as important as your bars, to be completely honest. Yeah, that's me.
I think that's definitely true. I mean, even with some of the other people you mentioned, like Kanye, like his lyrics are pretty hit and miss, but his delivery a lot of the time is great. Yes. Yeah. But I think even with your stuff, like although you don't have that much music on Spotify or released or anything, it doesn't really feel like you're like finding that sounds. Like it feels like very
like
immediate.
you got it definitely.
The thing is, before I started releasing music, I was rapping for about a year and a half prior, like loads of unfinished songs, whatever. But that was all a case of just finding myself. Do you get me? Like, and that's what kind of irked me at first when I started getting into it. People were like, "Oh, you're going to be doing this 2 fucking weeks, and you think you could talk to me?" And it's like, fam, you didn't see me the last year when I've been in my room writing, like rapping over and over again to myself, so I can actually, do you know what I mean, to perfect it. And it's like, and that's I know that's what you need, really. Do you know what I mean? That's the only reason I can sound like this now. It's not like God was like, hey, you do that. Yeah, I'm like, but no, you have to practice like anything.
But that's strategic as well. Like I think it's better that you didn't just release a load of shit on Spotify when you're still trying to find your voice, because when you do release something, you know, it lands. Like people actually enjoy it. Like what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think in regards to enjoying it, I think I was told when I first started that like put your personality into it, if that makes sense. Like you're not selling music, you're selling yourself. Do you get me? Make yourself like it's like one, for example, like some songs, like there's a song called ADHD, which is basically about me having ADHD because but it's like I'm basically putting myself in a song, and if somebody comes back to me and says, "Oh, dude, that was sick," I'm like, "Shit, thank you, man. I appreciate that."
Because you're sick, you know what I mean? Yeah,
like, I didn't say it, but hey,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's like that, you know. And it's like you kind of, not that you need validation about yourself, right? But it's a case of like, I'm not just liking your music, I'm liking you, and it's like, okay, thank you. That's how you know somebody supports you. Do you get me? If they actually like fuck with you as a person, as next to your music. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, yeah. I tried to get really like the EP I released, like I said, and put yourself in it. It was a bit dark, the descent, but it's a case of like I feel like whenever I release a body of work, it's I try to give the person as much of an insight into how I am at that particular point in time. Do you get me? So they'll come out and they'll be like, okay, so this is how George is feeling, or this is his mind frame in this time. Because I mean, like, I don't want people to come out of a project and being like, that was some nice songs. Yeah. What happened that though? It was just, you know what I mean? Like I want people to come out with something, if that makes sense, with something about either about the artist or about themselves even, because people find loads of music that I was told now the guy was drunk, don't get me wrong, so I don't know if it's but he was like no, he was like, oh, you stopped me from doing so and so to myself. Do you get me? He told me to the party, and I was like, really? I was like, shit, okay. I didn't even intend to do that. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't what it was for. It was just in a sense, it was kind of therapy for me to get my crap out there so it can clear my head. So I was like, if I can help somebody or make somebody's day, or someone's having a shit day and they put a song on, and it's like, if it's me telling you my troubles, telling me about myself, and if that's helping you, then man, more power to that, like 100%.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good sign. Like if you get that personal, then yeah, other people can then take it and then reflect it upon themselves. I think with ADHD, the song itself is quite like scatterbrain almost. Like there's a lot of like different references and things. When you're writing songs generally, do you find it's like that? You're just like throwing out ideas and then you see what sticks. Or do you just
see with ADHD, that was kind of like, I didn't want to have anything linear in that song at all. It's been drilled into me by my producer, shout KOD, Killing No Dwight, what's up? That I have to kind of structure, because I mean structuring songs in itself, it's not that, like, I know people think it's you have to put work into it as well. Do you get me? It's a case of like, there was a point in time I could afford to like throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, but now it's a case of like, okay, if I'm writing a song, it's more of like, okay, I have a premise. I have to like, if a song can't be written without a premise in my eyes. Do you get me? So you have to have a premise there. Perfect. Do you want hooks? How many hooks do you want in it? That's what I think of now when I write songs. Back then, when I was releasing the EP, you had a bang on. It was more like, yes, very good. Okay, yes. But now now it's more a case of like, okay, grand, I've had that. Perfect. Now I have to, in a sense, kind of, for me anyway, improve off that and actually start getting this on paper and being like, okay, I want this here, I want this here, I want this here. I mean, when I'm like right now for the new single I'm releasing, it's a case of like, I'll get a beat and like, grand, I like that beat, perfect. Come to my house and we'll basically just structure that beat out for whenever I want something in it. You get me? Like verse, hook, that kind of way. But beforehand, I'd get a beat and I'd be like, grand, the beat's already done, I'll just write around that. Where it's now, you have to kind of write. I feel like now it's a case of like, I can actually do more with this now, let me write into the beat. And that actually makes the music better almost, you get me?
I think that's so much more satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, you can always tell when someone's just gone over a beat, even though it can still sound good, but when it's like, you can tell that they've like filled it in and like added parts, it's way more cohesive as a whole song, I think.
Just to bring you back a wee bit there, I'd watched a couple of interviews with Loyal Corner, and he talked about like the difficulties of ADHD and how music really helps him. Has it helped you a lot, or? Yeah,
I mean, I remember one time when I was still at my mom's house, we were going through a bit, and she took my phone off me. So I was a teenager, and she took my phone off me, and like for that week, my head was just melted. Not in the sense that like I needed to check Snapchat out and anything. By the way, just to put this now, before I made music, I was not on Instagram. I was not on this shit. Like, I could not give a fuck about social media. And now my girlfriend hates me over it. You get me? But back then, no. So she took my phone off me, and it was like my head was melted because I didn't have any music. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like when you're like when it what's the word? It's like the sauce on your chips, if that makes sense. It's like, if you're feeling kind of way, I'm gonna put on a song that kind of that makes me like that suits it. Do you get me? And then even in saying so, that helps you deal with it. Do you get me? Like, I mean, I remember that I was going through a really bad phase. Sorry, where like I was depressed, but it was a case of like I slept like for so much during the day. Like I come home and I'd sleep. And the song that helped me through that was, the song "In the Cud" by Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
Off the album. Yeah. And I was like, that's my song. Do you get me? No, sorry, no, that was the album. No, "In the Cud" was spent the last month in bed by myself. I couldn't sleep. What's it called again? No, "In the Cud" was the album. It was Kid Cudi's song. You're killing me. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But no, that whole album basically, I was playing that because I kind of felt it would help me. Do you know what I mean? Like, the song "Just What I Am" is my favorite song, simply because I relate to it so fucking much. It's a case of like, okay, you enjoy weed and drugs and whatever, but on the exact same side, it's like this dude's damaged, but like he knows he's damaged. That's the best part. And it's like he knows he is, but like he can. There's a line in it. It's like I can't stop. Like it's like he can't stop now because there's people who are doing worse and they're continuing. It's like nah, you have to continue. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, music definitely would be a really. It probably if it. I don't take medication and shit, so music probably would have been my medication. You know what I mean? Like my mom does not believe in ADHD at all. As in we went there when I was a kid. We went to this. I was a hyperactive little bastard. She always had herself, and she'd always say. And then we went to this like it wasn't like a psychiatrist. It was like the school kind of like guidance counselor person who talked to you. Do you get me? And I was I was hyperactive cunt back in the day. This was when I was like 6 or 7, and then she called my mom in. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, he might have acute ADHD. Would you want to go to and see, he gave her a number for a specialist, right? So we're walking out. And I was like, can we go and see the place? And he goes, oh, no, it's cool, we'll go to church. We'll go to church. That's, you know what I mean? So like, my medication was prayer and music. Kind of way.
Yeah, well, I think that is quite interesting, actually. I think ADHD is one of those... It's one of those things that people almost sort of like pass off as like not even a real issue. Not that it can be like a huge issue or anything, but people just like, oh, it's just a bit whatever.
It's just a bit hyperactive cunt. You're just a bit of a weirdo, and it's like, yeah, but like no, you know. But like, hey, we're gonna do it. Don't get me wrong. It's better than having leukemia or something. So like, I'll take that all day. Hey, so sorry, even the shit, you know. Hey, we're gonna do. But yeah.
Do you think was it difficult at all? What was your mom's attitude towards your music when you were younger?
I remember she said to me plainly, because we were watching like Britney Spears or some crap. Don't hold me on that now. Watching Britney Spears. I mean, don't judge me. Sorry. Britney Spears like performing in some big crowd, and she was like, I would even. We were looking at it, and she looks at me, goes, I would rather you become a footballer than be a musician. Do you get me? Because to her, don't get me wrong, my mom's an African Nigerian, shout out Nigeria, and like she old school, very very old school. Do you get me? And not even old school like you'd have people here as an old like African old school. So it's a lot more conservative. She's a Christian as well, so it's a case of like music is for them. Music, if it's not like Jesus-y music or like, you know, like really 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 clean cut pop music, it's everything else is just drugs. Do you know what I mean? Like it opens a gateway to like blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff, and it's like, it's not worth. Well, my thing is it's not worth showing an old horse new tricks. I know she won't listen to it, but it's more of a case of like showing her through my actions that like, trust me, it's gonna work out. Do you get me? But yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Is her attitude towards it still the same, or has she changed over time?
Yeah, still basically the same. Yeah, but it's a case of, like I said, like the one thing about Africans is like money will just change everybody's minds.
Yeah.
Literally, you pull up, she goes, oh, he's doing music. Oh, money for me? Oh, go. Oh, please, yes, go. So like, don't get me wrong, I love my mom, I really do, and it's a case of like I just want to make her proud. You get me?
Yeah.
And I make her proud in my way. So like, and that's how I'm doing it.
That's sick. Yeah, it is difficult because, like, I think we were talking before we started this, but it's just those cultural differences, and being a musician in Ireland, like, you can be doing other stuff as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not making any money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People also often have side hustles and stuff going on at the same time, but it's just different classy ideologies, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, like I do academy. Sorry, no, I do MCing the odd time as well in the Academy nightclub, and that's a bag there whenever, like the odd, like I think it's like every 2 months, something like that. You get me? And it's like, God, I'm doing that, and I only got that through music. Do you get me? And even in saying that, shout the Academy, because like that has helped me. Like that's helped me so much with my stage presence, because like I'm literally getting paid to shout on stage in front of like room full packed people, and like one thing that like I feel like you might not like, if you don't like. You might not, you know, resonate with the music, my music that like say if you don't say if you don't resonate with my music that much, fair enough. If you come to one of my shows and see me perform, then you'll be like, okay, I get it now. Do you know what I mean? So like I feel like that. So I'm really grateful for even having that kind of side hustle, just because like it's almost kind of helped it. You know what I mean? And which is really good. Yeah, I'm dabbling. I'm waiting to get a new get a laptop, because I want to start doing videography. especially editing, because like I've in Dublin as well, and there's some sick like the multimedia scene is getting bigger and bigger as well. And it's almost. I think different scenes kind of bounce off each other and grow.
Oh,
itself.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
There's like double the photographers I knew from last year to this year now. Do you know what I mean? Even videographers, you get me?
Well, what's the whole crack with the Rejectz Media thing? Because that's multimedia, isn't it?
Basically, it is. Yeah. Basically, it's like I'd say in put it in my sense, it's like it's an amalgamation of like different kind of aspects. Into like a melting point. Sorry, melting pot basically. We try to basically bring different things together. And it's a case of like, for example, we ran an event in the Grand Social on the 15th of August called Play School. And with that, we took 3 facets of the scene. And it was music, fashion, and dancing. So with music, we had artists playing with me, Eddie, Evans Jr., Amma, Upbeat, Cobb the Dude as well. Shout Cobb, Rems from Nuisance, they came up and did some stuff. It was incredible. And then we had the fashion. So we had I'm just gonna cut them with my hand. We had Diamond Piece, we had Springvale, we had Damage Dublin, we had Craze the Aristocrats, we had By Meeks. That nigga's shoes are crazy, bro. That nigga's shoes are crazy. Like no, shout By Meeks, he's sick. Yeah. I think we have one more, but I'm just forgetting them in my head right now. But it's a case of like, we had that. If you see the videos we have up on Rejectz Media, there's videos of we had the smoking area of the Grand Social, and did like a kind of pan, and it looked almost like a bazaar, like a little market. You know what I mean? Because they had like
I seen it on Instagram.
Yeah.
It looks sick.
Like we had clothes and stuff on the thing, and it was like, oh, people were just there coming up buying them. Like I remember I was in Tengu, and one of the dancers who came to the thing, he came and he was like, bro, that was a sick event, man. He's getting shoes done off that guy By Meeks, because he goes, I only met him there. And I was like, perfect, that's exactly what we want. You know what I'm saying? Then we had, but the last bit was dance, because dancing is it's funny how much people forget it, that dancing is a really big part of hip hop. You know what I mean? And one thing I like about dancing is it's a case of like they do support each other a lot more than the hip hop scene, I have to say, because like there's always ego and everything, but I feel like dancing does kind of get behind each other. Do you get me? And I'm really happy they did show out in force for this. We had a dance competition, breakdancing battle, and the winner took home €200. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was a case of like, and we were happy to do that, because it was a case of like that was just us giving back to the scene. Yeah. And it was a case of like I really enjoyed that, because I felt like it was us taking initiative and like, because deeper, you want to perform, cool, make your own show. You know,
I feel like that attitude is why there's so much stuff starting to happen. And it's like, if it's not there, fucking do it yourself.
Literally, do it yourself. Don't wait for some dickhead booker to come and say, "Oh, do you want €20?" No, fuck off, man. Fuck you. I'm gonna market this shit myself, and I'm gonna get.
They don't know what they're doing in the sense that, like, they're just trying to throw whatever money they have at someone that seems like the right person for the job. Like, whereas if you're doing this shit, you know you're the right person for the job.
Literally, yeah. And I think now the thing is like money as well is like not that it's a big issue, but it's a case of like now people are realizing that they're actually worth stuff. Do you know what I mean? And now you can go to people and be like, okay, you want me, perfect, you have to pay for me now. Do you get me? Because I mean that's great. You know what I mean? Like that's great. We can actually command that, because say like a couple of years ago you could be like, yeah, I'll do it for free, just do some raps. But now you can be like, yes, I'm rapping, I'm an artist. Give me so and so for so and so minutes. It's like that's. You know what I mean? The fact that we have that to actually try and throw at them and be like, okay, we're not just, commodities. You can just throw here and there and give us, a couple free drinks and we'll do it for you. Do you know what I mean? So like, I feel like that's good.
Yeah, I think, it's not like you're just some kids that's just thrown off the streets to do some rapping. Like,
because there are some bookers who see you as that, because like, you know what I mean? Like there's some bookers who have been doing it for a while when hip hop wasn't that big, and it's like they'll come to you and be like, oh, doing this. I'm like, yeah, but no, because I'm not 12, but like you sound enough,
Have you got any plans for like a Play School 2?
We're thinking of having another event, hopefully, if not by the end of this year again, definitely early next year, 100%.
That's sick. Like, because all the videos and stuff I've seen online, because I wanted to go, we can get down, but like all the videos and all look amazing.
Guest list for you, don't worry.
Guest list for you. Did you get involved in the dance competition?
Yeah, no, yeah. I won. What you mean? No.
By default.
It's my event, thank you. I popped and I was over. No, I did not get involved in that competition because I didn't want to look stupid in front of everybody who was actually a good dancer. You get me? I watched it though, and it was like, ooh, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Like, I love dancing because like you feel the energy from their body. You know what I mean? Especially when you're drunk, man. You're just like, whoa! It's sick. I didn't get involved in it though. I watched very closely though, and it seemed like everybody in there enjoyed themselves, which was the main motif. I wanted everybody to come out there with like grand. That was actually really really fun. You know what I mean? I didn't go there like you go there for music, and you see the clothes. Or you go out for music, you stay for the clothes. You go out for the clothes, you stay for the music. You go out for the clothes, you stay for the dancing. Do you get me? So it was something different because I mean, like I've done a good few gigs in the last year. I've gone to a good few gigs thanks to my girlfriend dragging me out of the gaff like you have to go to these places. But like, I've gone to these gigs and like, don't get me wrong, I've gone to great gigs, I've gone to meh gigs, and the one thing is they were all revolving around the same kind of thing. Just acts and music and then go do that. You get me? And that's why I wanted this to be different. I wanted more. I think the key to getting people to really enjoy an event is crowd interaction, and it's a case of like giving the crowd the choice to pick what they want to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Almost, it's like you can go shop, you can go watch a nigga dance, you can go watch a nigga rap. You get me? So
there's even like a variety of acts because it was like a load of different people, like you said there as well. So it's the choice as well.
That's what we want. That's what we like. That's what we wanted to have in Rejectz as well, because it's a case of like we have a Rejectz. We have Rejectz artists who are like are part of the collective, and it's a case of like it's not just rappers. We have so basically we have name a few people off the top of my head. We got me. We have Eddie, who's a singer and a rapper. We have Amma. We have Evans Jr. We have Ari Noir, who like does the whole kind of R&B Foster things as well.
Yeah, we came across his music recently, Ari Noir. Yeah, fucking that sick. Dude, like,
nah, shout that boy, man. Nah, he's sick, man. He's a little joker as well. I hate him to hate that nigga though.
Yeah, he roasted us on Twitter one time about a list we made, like alongside a lot of other people.
Oh,
actually,
yeah,
but,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we've been roasted by a lot of people, but it happens.
Yeah, well, fuck them. No, fuck them. Fuck them. Deep it. Why, like I was telling you before we started this interview, like, who gave people the crown? Like, for example, Pitchfork and shit like that. Who gave them niggas the crown to be giving niggas, you know, reviews and shit like that? Why can't you do that? Do your own thing. Do you get me? Like, fuck them. That's your opinion.
Yeah, no, like we sort of stick by what we say. Like, we're not. I'm
yeah,
not
I mean, we still stand by that.
Yeah,
like, I still get death threats, you know. It's not
but no, I think that's the whole thing. It's about stimulating conversation and like, and the more things that people start talking about on, like, that's the thing. You can't every day on Twitter, every day on Instagram, people are talking about something within Irish hip hop, and there's always a dialogue going. And that's the difference between maybe now and like a couple of years ago, is that there's enough to talk about. There's enough for people to actually get involved and want to like talk shit about other people or like big them up. Or
I mean, see, the two biggest driving forces with people, and I've been there myself. You can have people who love your shit and people who hate your shit, and those people who will make the most fucking noise.
Yeah, they're both important.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, even with that versatile thing, controversy a couple months ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like personally, yeah, I find that hilarious. I find that fucking hilarious because one, like, it's weird because
the controversy or the lyrics themselves.
Both. I mean, both deep it. Okay, look. The shit came out in 2017, right? If you had a problem with it, don't wait till they sell out the fucking Tree Arena and start being like, no, at them in 2017. Secondly, I've lived in there most of my life, right? Now, it's a case of like, racism or not, you have to say, Irish people don't give a fuck about some shit. Like, they're blunt, you know what I'm saying? It's a case of like, the jokes, it's a case of like I work in Dublin, for example, and you have to have like tough skin to get along there. Do you get me? Like, my nickname is Divock Origi.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And it's like, look, that's it. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, then to that certain foster people, they might have found that funny. I doubt they had a whole intention of, because I mean, it's very funny if you do that and then try to make money off, you know, like a black thing. Do you get me? So I feel like I personally feel like that was their sense of humor. Probably stupid as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but that was their sense of humor. Do you get me? I don't particularly think that was a whole fucking they're fucking hanging black people out the backs of the windows and shit. But like the fact that there was a dialogue around it, the fact that there was people talking about it was like fair enough, grand, perfect. But like next time, maybe do that when it actually happens instead of bringing that shit up now. That was my one thing about it that I didn't like. The fact they were only doing it then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you not think that most people who were talking about it didn't know about it then, though, and that's why they were talking about it?
I do, but let me see. True. I can't say that. I really can't say that. But it's more of a case of like, it's more. You see, I just didn't like the timing of it. Really, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know what you mean there, because there was a few people that we'd noticed who who was shitting all over them, who had previously like praised a lot of their past music and like said all that kind of thing. And they might not have been talking about that specific song, but they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Versatile are great," and then it was like, "Oh, publicly everyone hates Versatile now."
So
but
we're gonna
in the
jump
past,
on that now. It's
you've
like
been like, you obviously had heard that song before, but it hadn't really bothered you. So I do understand what you're saying from that point. But
I mean, even like you've heard this, like the song's on like what? It's not almost 1 million views now. It's 1 million views, isn't it? Double City G's.
I think it's over that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like so deep. It's a case of like over 1 million people have heard it when it fucking came out. Why are we waiting until now? Do you get me? So that's why I'm like, what are you gonna do? Like I said.
But like we're saying, just having that much dialogue about one thing, you know, I think it's testament to how big the genre is. Also because it's a fucking controversial thing. But like even the likes of when Evans Jr. and that guy Sky Montaigne, when they had that beef and stuff, like that was just fucking jokes. You know what I mean? Like that was fucking hilarious.
That was brilliant.
But that's the thing, like and people don't like, you know, certain artists. People don't like certain artists' music. But there's enough interest and people look out for stuff enough that when something like that happens, that everybody's on it.
Everyone's captivated. Everyone, like, I mean, there was a whole thing where it was like they wanted them to rap battle each other in the trap line, and there was like, I thought there was one guy, but there was so many people saying that. And I was like, oh wow, okay, it's a thing now.
I just remember like live streams. There was like over 100 people like would join instantly, and they'd just be slobbering at each other, and it was just like you're just like holding your breath, going like, ooh, who's gonna say something next? You know what I mean?
Even sure, Amber and Ronica.
Yeah,
they had to be. That was like now that I found that fucking hilarious. Like there was a track Amma posted, and he got a picture of Ronick doing some fruity ass pose or some shit, like ass out and all. I was like, you cannot do that, man. You can't be making that your cover. Oh my god, no, it was good though. Like I've also, like, don't get me wrong, it's good because I mean that also in a sense generates interest in people's and in the careers. People's careers can literally blow off beef.
Oh well, I mean, look at fucking 6ix9ine before he went to prison. All them people, like, they literally crave that attention.
Literally, your man Chipmunk from England, he only really came back into the scene when he was beefing that guy Youngin.
Yeah,
and that basically elevated him again from pop guy to now I'm driller. You know what I'm saying? So like, no, I think the fact that people are watching just is good, because then say I don't know, out of 100 people, say they all watch, and then 50 people out of 100 people would be like, okay, let me see what this guy's actually about, and then boom, that's 50 fans just there off just chatting shit. You know what I mean? Because
at the end of the day, it's just grabbing people's attention for long enough to get them to check you out again after. That's because like, there's so many times like I get sent music or listen to it once, and then you're like, oh, that's okay, and then you just forget about it. There's something that needs to drag you in sometimes. You know what I mean? Which is, like, I guess a lot of the stuff that we've got into is because it's got really cool music videos quite frequently.
Yeah. The music video for ADHD is really good as well.
Oh shit, yeah. See, in regards to, I like the whole shock factor in regards to videos. Shout out to Ushi Fleming, shout out to Eddie, shout out to me, because we all do that shit together. But it's a case of, like, personally with me in regards to videos, I like captivating shit. I like weird shit. My favorite director is Quentin Tarantino for a reason, because of all the blood and the gore and shit. Like if you have, I don't know, like, especially with like the stuff with the black hands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that my concept, I got that from a fucking Tom and Jerry cartoon, right?
Anyway.
Do you ever get when the woman leaves the pie on the windowsill?
Yeah.
And the pie forms the hands, right? So basically the hands are meant to be like temptation.
Okay.
Do you get me? So it's not like they're meant to like creepily alluring. Do you get me? Yeah, it's weird, but you're not scared of it. You want to know what it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like piques your curiosity, kind of.
Literally, and that's what I tried to do throughout the whole video, and in the videos to come. We'll say. I don't say too much about that right now, but we have a few things in the pipeline. Basically,
are you trying to be as involved as possible in your own videos? Because you were talking about getting the laptop.
100%, 100. Like I love, like, personally, right? If I could write my own story and see where this goes, I would do music and say that pop's perfect, that's incredible. But for real, I do music, and then to give myself the leverage to go to Martin Scorsese's gaff and be like, what's up, let's make a film. That's my end game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love cinema, and it's a case of, like, I really want to be, like, I don't want to say too much about what we have in Rejectz, because it's a case of, like, you don't want to say stuff before it happens, that kind of way. Yeah. But it's a case of, like, we are trying to really push this media thing, especially in
well, that's the whole thing as well, is that, like, so many big artists nowadays are not just singers or rappers. Like, Donald Glover literally does fucking everything.
Visual
you know
artists.
What I mean?
Like, this is the era of visual artistry, really. You can't just, you know, Kojak Radical. Ever heard him?
Who?
Yeah.
Kojak Radical? Yeah.
That guy is, like, you know what I'm saying?
He's
like,
mad.
Incredible. Like, there was a song, it's called I Can't Go Back.
Yeah, I was literally listening to that this morning.
Oh, the video for that, just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible with him dancing, then there's other and then like they have dancers going around, and I'm like, wow. It's not just a song, it's actually a whole piece of art that you need to see the video for. You know what I mean?
It brings a total new life to the song, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, yeah. So like I think that's a really important part of modern music, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like people like Bjork the people who were doing in the past, like Bjork, that bitch was crazy. But that bitch crazy, man. But like she had that going on, and I was like, and people fuck with it because it was just mad. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, music. Like I fuck with Bjork, not even because of her music, because how she is. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like, have you seen? She has a show coming up for in Ireland, I think. And then the poster for it or some shit is like, it's her face peeled back or some weird shit. I'm like, okay, Bjork, okay, I see you. I see you still with it. So you know what I mean? And she's not just a singer, she's an artist, and she holds herself and moves herself like an artist. Cole Jeorge is not just a singer, he's an artist. He holds himself and he moves himself like an artist. George II is a black guy with a microphone, but he's holding and pushing himself like an artist. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
And just coming sort of around to the last few points here, like 2020, we sort of said that you, alongside a few other people, we think we're going to have like a fucking mad year. What do you want out of 2020?
What do I want out of 2020? Well, 2019, my goal was to play a festival, my first festival that I've ever been to as well. And I did that. EP, shout out Nilo, shout out Art Loud Stage, shout out Flirtertown as well. But 2020, I personally think, so right now 2019 was about me getting my foot in the door. Perfect. I think 2020 is a case of me establishing myself as one of the people to actually look at, if that makes sense. Because I can easily name 20 people, rappers off the top of my head, but like I'd say there's like 5. I'm not gonna name, but there's 5 stand out. Do you know what I mean? And I plan to be in those 5, and I will be in those 5. Do you get me? It's more. So yeah, and my plan is to hopefully play. I played one festival last year. Plan is double that, play 2.
Yeah.
I think everything. If you can, my plan is every year double what you did last year.
Yeah.
So streams wise, numbers wise, gigs wise as well. Like I plan to be hopefully very, very busy next year in regards. I also want to release a project next year at some point. It just really that really all kind of depends on when the singles start plopping out. So I want to get them out as soon as possible. So hopefully we should have a single by the end of the year. George's second single. It's called Andale. So hopefully that will be coming out next year. But have an EP coming out should be. I'm kind of about the name. Right. I think the hardest thing is naming something, I'd have to say. But next year, just to basically establish myself as one of the top people in this island to be doing it next year. Do you know what I mean? Like put some respect on that name. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. Yeah.
No, I definitely think you can do it.
With
the EP coming up, is it going to be is it going to have like an overarching theme like The Descent, or is it more just like a collection of singles?
No, I think it's definitely going to have a theme. So basically, what I think, okay, I'll give you the exclusive. Basically, the name of the EP I have right now is called Money and Mortality. It's basically, but like I said, it's basically every project I want to release will give you a mind frame of where I am right now. Do you get me? So like this EP will tell you what I'm like right now, in the sense that like, it's more of a case of like, they're all journeys really. Do you get me? The Descent was a journey into like not finding yourself, but like finding the worst part of yourself almost really, and being stuck with that. And I think this, because at the end of the Descent, it leaves you off Strong Walls, like great song, whatever, but it's dark song. Do you get me? Kind of so I think this next EP is gonna pick up from where that left off, but take you somewhere else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's in the sense of like we had the Descent, now you have Ascent?
Yeah.
I was gonna call it the Ascent, right? And then someone goes, "That is fucking stupid, man." I also wanted to call it the Second, and I got laughed at. I was like, "Come on, that's a good one." Yeah.
Well, then if you said it all at once with your name, it'd be George II is the Second. It's a bit of a mouthful.
What you gonna do? It'll get him in there. But yeah, so hopefully we get that out. We should be get that out. I'm thinking the release date for this next EP, March. I like doing stuff like yearly. Do you get me? So it's a case of like I released my last EP there on March 25th. So I'd say anytime from March to April next year, I'd be expecting something from me.
Perfect.
Nice.
Well, yeah. I think we can leave it there. Like, appreciate you coming down.
Man, no problem.
Fuck, this conversation stretched a lot of different places, but this has been fucking dope. Like, but yeah, is there anything else you want to plug before we end it?
No, I mean, to be honest, like I have to say, if I like, I without sounding as corny as I can, like I am actually so fucking excited for the scene because it's crazy. Like it really fucking is. It's like I know there's.
It does feel like something's happening.
You know
like
what I
when
mean?
you said it at the
Every
start.
single person.
But you know what the mad thing is? I'm telling my girlfriend as well. Like, I tell her, like when we're older and we're talking about this shit to our kids, we'll be like, we were part of it.
Yeah.
We were there when it started, and that's what gives me kind of chills. As in, like, you can actually say, yeah, I performed with this. I knew that guy. Yeah, we did this together.
Kind of shit that'll
like,
be in the books later on.
Literally, do you know what I mean? Rejectz City, nigga, gang. Thank you for having me on. Beautiful.
Peace. Cheers.
No worries.